Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sedated, but you can call me Cass. Recently, I kind of went on a research overload and I thought, hey, why not make it into a video? So, as your resident fledgling, I present Novice to Neonate, an in-progress guide to Vampire the Masquerade V5.
Vous êtes des animaux.
The world of Vampire the Masquerade had its humble beginnings in a rather unlikely place. In 1990, during a car ride through Gary, Indiana, Mark Rain Hagen and a group of associates sparked a question. Who would live in a place like this? And with that simple question, the seed was planted for something that would forever change the landscape of tabletop role-playing games. After returning from Gen Con that year, Mark began work on what would become Vampire the Masquerade. Drawing inspiration from pop culture of the time, the game began to take shape fast. What set it apart from other ttrpgs was the revolutionary notion that... I'm sorry, my cat just interrupted me and made me lose my train of thought and my place on my teleprompter. You know what, Popcorn? Say hello to the beautiful people of the 23 people of my channel. Say hi!
Strike that. Reverse it.
What set it apart from other ttrpgs was the revolutionary notion that players would embody the monsters themselves rather than the heroes.
But wait! There's more!
Each player would gain a unique political and world view based on the clan and archetype a player picked. This level of in-depth character creation was rarely seen at the time, only in a few homebrews. A turning point for the game's development was the involvement of Tim Bradstreet as the illustrator. His contributions helped to solidify the game's distinctive visual style. Players could easily see themselves navigating this gothic punk landscape that felt real. In 1991, White Wolf Publishing introduced the world to the first edition of Vampire the Masquerade. This shifted the community a little bit. The game moved away from numbers, statistics, and monster slaying, and instead emphasized deeply engaging narratives, political intrigue, and personal character development. As the game gained popularity, it began to intertwine with real-life gothic and countercultural scenes. The lines between the game and the club scenes increasingly blurred as one world influenced another and vice versa. Following the initial success, White Wolf continued to expand the world of darkness. They published a myriad of stories, clan books, and delved into other supernatural creatures that shared the night with our kindred. Werewolves, mages, changelings, they all coexist and find themselves on my teleprompter. They all coexist and find their paths kind of crossing, overlapping, and creating some pretty interesting situations. My campaign I'm in right now, we met some Guru and werewolves, and that was interesting. My character now has a werewolf head on her wall. The legacy of vampires soon expanded beyond the tables, leaving its own mark on the media. The World of Darkness came alive in literature with a series of novels set in this universe. These books look closer at the nuanced lives of kindred, offering a chance to explore the clans a little bit in depth. Nancy A. Collins, Robert Weinberg, and Gerald Fleming contributed to the ever-expanding library of Vampire the Masquerade. 1996 brought Kindred to the TV screens. Kindred the Embraced was a short-lived series that ran on Fox, with 7 episodes before being canceled. It wasn't received too well. Showcasing political struggles and the delicate balance maintained to uphold the masquerade, this series follows a detective in San Francisco chasing after mobsters, only to find he's targeting vampires And the main dude he's investigating is kind of the city's prince. While the premise sounded interesting, it just didn't live up to standards and is now nothing but a cherished piece of Vampire the Masquerade lore. Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. This was a video game that was released in 2000 by Nihilistic Software and Activision. Depicting a journey, you start in 12th century Prague, and you end up in London in 20th century. In the 20th century. Despite getting mixed reviews, the game was praised for its graphics and its multiplayer system. After Redemption won the Game Critics Award for the best role-playing game, it merited the production of a sequel. And I say a sequel in quotations because sure, this is the same universe, but the stories are fairly different. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was my first experience with the World of Darkness, and I remember watching playthroughs navigating the gritty streets of LA as a newly embraced kindred. The game gained a dedicated fan base. Bloodlines was acclaimed for its immersion, richly detailed world, and complex characters like Therese and Jeanette Vorman. After 20 years, the second Bloodlines game is due to release around fall of this year of recording, so fall of 2024. The game catalog continues to expand with Coteries of New York, Shadows of New York, Night Road, Out for Blood, Parliament of Knives, Sins of the Sire, Heartless Lullaby, and Blood Hunt, which is a battle royale, almost Fortnite-style game that takes place, I believe, during an Inquisition. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself literally as I'm speaking right now. So after going back into my research, I found out it is not an Inquisition, but it is a war that is in Prague, basically between kindred, so yeah. In May of 2022, Swan Song was released by Big Bad Wolf and Nakon. This game was another narrative-driven RPG, much like Bloodlines and Redemption, allowing players to control 3 unique kindred through the streets of Boston, and offering a fresh perspective into the world of darkness. YouTube and Twitch became home to live play streams of Vampire. From September of 2018 to October of 2021, LA by Night entranced its audience with Jason Carl's elaborate storytelling. Following a group of vampires investigating the underground of Los Angeles, we get to see the world we loved so much back in Bloodlines. There are a couple of little Easter eggs tying back to the game, like the Vorman sisters, which I think is super cool. It's full of powers, ghosts, camerilla versus anarch, which all games are, hunters, vampire daddies.
It's my vampire daddy.
As Annabelle the Bruja, Jasper the Nosferatu, Victor the Ventru, and Nellie G, the Toreador, try to fight for survival with the friends they've made along the way. After the story was told, Jason Carl made plans to tell another chronicle. New York by Night began in July of 2022, showing the lives of 2 groups of kindred. Giving more of a focus on the camerilla this time, we get to see the sects in substantial detail. Currently still ongoing, the series introduces us to new kindred and some already known from the Coteries of New York game. The endurance of Vampire the Masquerade is a testament to its immersive world, complex characters, and its impact on pop culture. As we explore Vampire the Masquerade V5, we can now do so with an appreciation of the history and the cultural significance of this franchise. Now, the grueling part. We've got to dip into the pages of the vampire lexicon to understand the meaning behind these words that now seem to define our undead existence. The most important is, well, the masquerade. The masquerade is the concept of hiding vampires and keeping their existence a secret from mortals, but this isn't for the protection of mortals. This is for the protection of kindred themselves. I know I've been saying the word vampire here and there, and the word kindred here and there, but in the world of darkness, the preferred term to talk about vampires is kindred. Now granted, you don't want to go around saying kindred because that would break the masquerade. It all flows together.
Now, if you violate the masquerade, if you run around spooking humans or whatever, you make things harder on all of us. Then all of us get pissed off and we come after you. And you end up like your sire there, staked and baked. Comprende, kiddo?
There are other terms for vampires. Licks, blank bodies, blanks. It all depends on which group you stand with and the kindred you are speaking to.
But I think I have just as many, if not more, reasons not to trust any of you blank fucks.
Blank.
We're working together right now.
Like blank.
For now.
Clans are like families of different kindred with common characteristics, powers, and bloodlines. Though, some who are in the same clan can share different political values. And that's where we get sects. Sects are political parties within the kindred society. They are camerilla, anarch, and sabbat. You know those powers I mentioned earlier? Those are your disciplines. These are powers like superhuman strength, superhuman speed, mind control, prophecies, things like that. Now, just to make it easier on everybody, I'm going to do a real quick speed round. Yeah. Your Bane is a unique weakness associated with each clan causing limitations. Blood bond is a connection formed between a kindred and their mortal blood donor, resulting in an emotional dependency. Cain, the biblical first kindred and the founder of the first city of Enoch. Coterie, this is a small group of kindred who work together, often with similar goals in mind. Diablerie is the act of draining another kindred to the point where even their soul is consumed. Potentially, the diablerist would gain the victim's powers and consciousness. Domain is a physical territory that a kindred has access to for feeding and asserting their own dominance. I am so sorry for the dog barking. Elder is a kindred who has existed for centuries with immense powers and influence. Elysium, this is going to be your neutral ground. Kindred from all clans and sects are free to enter without fear of violence. Embrace, the process of turning a human into kindred. Frenzy, an uncontrollable burst of rage triggered by intense emotion. Generation, a kindred's age and power within their lineage. The lower the generation, the more potent the blood of Cain is, and the more powerful they are. A ghoul is a human who's consumed kindred blood without being drained, granting them enhanced abilities, as well as a reliance on said kindred. Haven, a vampire's safe, often hidden residence where they sleep during the day. Humanity, this measures a character's morals, influencing their behavior. Hunger, that's gonna be your constant need for blood. With a higher hunger comes difficulty keeping in touch with your humanity. Hunter, hunters are individuals or groups of mortals who seek to eliminate all supernatural creatures, not just kindred. Lilith is the mother of demons, biblically the first wife of Adam. She was cast out when she refused to lay underneath him, yada yada yada. She is an extremely powerful individual who blessed Cain with his gifts before he betrayed her. Remember when I said White Wolf expanded to integrate more creepy creatures into its world? Changelings are fey souls that are reborn into mortal bodies. Lupine is another term for werewolf. So you've got lupine, guru, werewolf. They are a known enemy to kindred. I believe the World of Darkness was the first instance of this trope being used, but don't quote me because I think it's Abbott and Costello at Dracula's or Frankenstein's castle. There's an Abbott and Costello movie where there's a scene with Bela Lugosi and the Wolfman fighting, but it's played off more in a comedic light. So I'm not sure. It might be World of Darkness. It might be Abbott and Costello. Mages are mortals with the ability to understand magic and use it to warp reality completely. A wraith is a ghost or a spirit of a person who died unfulfilled and now haunts the Shadowlands. Paths of enlightenment are philosophical ethics codes that guide a kindred's morals and choices. A prince is the highest ranking camerilla official in the city. In Anarch domain, this position is called Baron. Progeny are a collection of kindred's offspring or childer. Your sire. This is the one who brought you into your new unlife, embracing you. Torpor is a deep, often century-long sleep, typically entered when healing from severe injury or escaping some sort of mortal danger. Vitae. This is the mystical and life-giving blood of a kindred.
All right, everybody, I'm at work, so I gotta make this quick. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Why? Because my mom said so. And let me know down in the comments your thoughts. And if you're excited for part 2, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.